Hello everyone, my name is Eva Kristiani Butar-Butar. I am a student from University of North Sumatra, the Science and Culture, English Literature 18. In this change, I will explain about how will linguistics help me that contains the benefit to studying linguistics and the fit model to studying it and the experience during to studying it. And the last is to read a poem by ownself. So the first of all, I will explain about how will linguistics help me. Most people agree that the hardest thing when learning a new language are grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Even some modern studies of linguistics will help with the above. Generic grammar rules as applied to language family will help you derive the rules you can't or be bothered to remember. Things will fall into place easier. Knowing nouns from verbs, main sentences from secondary sentences, articulation in conjunction, this can well make the difference between loving the new language and burning the book in despair. Word formation will start making sense once you know some etymology. Phonetics will help you figure out seemingly strange pronunciation rules. Things like voiceless post-alveolar velar fricative will not only appear perfectly reasonable, but the normal way to describe a sound, again with Swedish the letter G is pronounced differently depending on whether it's followed by a soft or hard vowel. Knowing what those are in advance will save you a ton of embracing confusions. As Lord said, linguistics is to languages what programming is to computers. You can learn to use word and then you'll know how to use word, or you can learn. Also, linguistic knowledge help you to see the rules of languages from a general perspective. You don't need to try to memorize rules that seem random when you understand the logic behind them. For example, if you are familiar with the concept of case marking, you can easily learn how your target language functions with this feature. In Japanese, you don't need to struggle with all the particles. You can just check that Japanese has marked nominative, topic, and accusative and instantly figure out how the system works. Understanding of tense and aspect of system helps almost with every language. You don't need to get puzzled with Chinese time relations when you understand that it uses just aspect without tenses. Knowing how to analyze sentence structure is the key to the function of words and forms in a phrase, and it is often useful when reading a complicated text. Distinguishing objects from adverbials is very important, and knowledge of transitivity helps to choose the right form of place for the words in the phrase. In the phonetic side, knowing things like rhythm type, reduction, quantity, and lenitation is good in the process of making your speech sound right. When you are familiar with the tongue movements and places in your mouth, you can quite easily find the sounds you need in the language. This applies to the structure of language. It is important to note that achieving the fluent level in a language requires a lot of particular use of the language. Linguistic knowledge can be a very handy tool in that process. In a short summary, since linguistics is not really about specific languages, you won't automatically learn new languages. You will, on the other hand, gain more insight in the way languages work, which you can apply to the specific language you're learning. Impression and message me during linguistic classes in this online class. I think it is very enjoyable, although occasionally interfere with a bit of work. True, I find it difficult to learn English. Because my skills are lacking in English, I am happy because their English mentor can be friendly and outgoing. I hope English class could be useful at a later date and make me understand that language alone is not enough to communicate. But my biggest obstacle while studying online, in my opinion, is only one process, whether or not our eyes are resistant to the screen that is being watched during from morning to evening. Honestly, while I was studying online, since I was dismissed due to Corona, the average time I spent in front of my laptop screen was between 6 to 8 hours per day. And that during Monday to Friday, I don't know if other faculties experience something similar to me or not, but that is what happened with me, and that might make my eyes experience dry eye syndrome. Luckily, I have a solution using anti-radiation glasses, but that is for myself. I don't know that friends out there are experiencing the same thing as I have the initiative or not to buy anti-radiation glasses. And also, the main thing is signal, which is the biggest obstacle that I experienced during online lectures at COVID-19. The reason is, the area where I am is a village, far from urban areas and located between rubber and palm tree plantations that do not where the end of the time is. Plus, the status of the district that I live in is a border area, so it is only natural for various obstacles such as networks, signals, etc. cannot be avoided. Sometimes, it is very annoying when being haunted by the deadline of the text and have to upload it to Google Classroom and YouTube or email, etc. Often has problems with the signal also, supported by the LALAT internet network. Fortunately, the lecture is the understanding. Try if the lecturer is skilled. Definitely not. Imagine. The end of my presentation, I will read my own poetry. Rekayasa Wabah, karya Eva Kristiani Butar-Butar. Seruak angin pandemik, rekayasa adikuasa nan epik. Terjang menerjang lagaknya sebuah wabah, eksperimen tanpa batas telah bersimbah. Bawa malapetaka ke seluruh penjuru, tebas habis satu persatu, layaknya sedang berburu. Social distancing katanya, suatu strategi terarah. Tujuannya menutup kemungkinan yang semakin parah. Jaminan bebas tagihan berharap tetap bertahan di rumah saja. Kalimat yang lagi viralnya, dan kepada siapa harus bertanya, kapan akhir semua.